Hey guys, thank you so much. So today is World Values Day, and we're definitely going to talk about our values and what the values mean to us as far as reciprocating values go. And for me, the reciprocating value means what you expect back out of a relationship that you're getting or giving. And so I'm John Carpenter with Snelling Hospitality, and I'm lucky enough to be joined by a few folks here, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves and tell them a little bit about each other. Phil, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I am Philip Davis, owner and CEO of Fulfillment. Fulfillment is a full-scale career coaching and recruiting consultancy organization. And it is just a pleasure to be here off the busy day and just to take some time and just be here with you all. So it's a pleasure.
Great.
Hello, everyone. I am Simone Elbow, and not the body part, just my middle initial there. I get it all the time, so I just want to get it out of the way. I am a leadership strategist and coach with The Limitless Life, and I focus on helping leaders to be authentic, purposeful, and transformational. And I really enjoy that people work, even though it can be really draining, as you know, Phil and John. But
Yes.
it's definitely fulfilling work when we can inspire people to influence and impact their environments and the people around them.
Great.
And
And Pedro
themselves.
has showed up as well. Pedro, nice to see you.
Nice to see you, John. How are you?
Good.
How are you, everybody?
Good. And so, Pedro, you're from New York City, correct?
I am in New York City, yes.
Awesome. And what I know you were a GM for a while. You just started something new?
I did. I decided to start my own business, trying to launch my own consulting within the hospitality for now. I have a few
Nice.
other projects in the works there, but yeah, I decided to do something about my next chapter in my life, and that's what it is. It's still in the beginning.
Okay. That's okay. Phil's in that boat too. So
Right
Yeah.
there.
But so I appreciate everybody. So again, I was talking about reciprocating values being World Values Day, and for me, reciprocating values, like I said, are the ones that you want back in a relationship, from someone, or in your life or work or employees or whatever. And the one thing that I truly look for in all my relationships is authenticity. So I want people to be authentic with me and then be authentic in their life as well. I want creativity out of any relationship that I have, because to me, creativity just gets us into so many different paths for our lives. And then curiosity, which kind of plays into creativity. But like I told these guys offline, if we can ask as many questions as possible, and I get that when I'm interviewing people, feel free, be curious, please ask questions. Like, that's where my life goes, and that's what I do for a living, is ask questions. So and I think that these three values for me, when I got my UMAP coaching, those are the ones that stood out. Like, of course I get 12 values out of my UMAP coaching or whatever it came out to be, but those three values for me were honestly the ones that I like in every aspect of my life. And so I'd love to hear how you guys, I know it made you guys think, Phil and Simone, like, what were the values that you'd like to get back in a relationship? We'll start with you, Phil.
Okay. I think for me, and I appreciated you inviting us to this today, because I had realized World Values Day was coming up, but I didn't realize it was today. So oh my gosh, I gotta get a post out and talk about the live that we're doing. But I put this earlier, but really for me, my most favorite value for myself is integrity, right? Just doing what you say you'll do when you said you would do it. And to kind of supplement that into what I look for when I have meaningful relationships, similar to you, John, where I look for those folks who are curious about me as a person, but also me being curious about them. I think a lot of that is within trust. I really look for those like meaningful relationships that are built upon trust,
Right.
because without trust, I mean, there's really nowhere you can take the relationship. So I really look for those kind of unique, amazing, trusting, and meaningful relationships with people,
Right.
just along all walks of life, whether it is within my business at working with career job seekers, or recruiting businesses, or just anybody in general that we're networking with.
Yeah,
That's me. So
that's awesome. How about you, Simone?
It's interesting that we share these values because when I look at my top three, the first one is authenticity. That's important
Mhm.
to me. Of being comfortable, being in your own skin, being with your personality, who you are, what you think, and just being able to be yourself as you
Right.
show up in the relationship, whatever that may be, work or otherwise. And the next one for me that's tied to that is openness.
Mm.
So I would love for when you're authentic, then we're open, we're flexible, we have this sense of adventure with each other, right? That we're not going to put each other in a box and say, this is how this relationship ought to go. This is how this conversation ought to go. This is
Right.
how this business deal ought to go. Let's be open to the possibilities. Let's be open to each other's viewpoints and everything else. And then, of course, integrity. I think is really important. What you see has to be what you get. You got to
Mhm.
walk the talk. I don't want to have to engage with someone that I have to be concerned that, can I really believe them? Can I really believe that John is a man of his word? Like, could I really believe that compliment that he paid me?
Right.
No one wants to be looking over their shoulder when they're interacting with people. So I
Right.
think that's really important.
Yeah. How about you, Pedro?
I mean, I'm just going to repeat what Dave said already
Yeah.
because I had it on my list here. Integrity definitely is one of
Yep.
the most important. I mean, I what you see is what you get, and I expect the same in return. And obviously, always staying true to myself, and the same thing from everybody else. I would say respect comes next to me.
Mm.
I don't see any relationship flourishing without respect, and respect for different thoughts, different perspectives, different feelings, different emotions. And we come from a very big global village, and we need to learn to respect each other and each other's perspectives. We all have our different backgrounds, so
Yeah.
that to me is very, very critical. And tied to that then is I appreciate people that value diversity. I
Mhm.
appreciate people that understand that we really live in a world that has this wealth of cultures and like I said, different perspectives. And I think that is what really makes knowledge, collaboration, work overall much richer um, than than anything else. I'll put professional skills kind of like towards the end of the list, because
Right.
these are going to be in my mind the basic structural core elements that will bring everything together after. So
Yeah. And it is interesting because we all kind of work in the same space. As a recruiter, but I worked in hotels for years and then went to retail, but then came back in recruiting for hotels. And, I guess the service industry, it seems a lot of those values in the service industry, it doesn't matter where you're at. Bill's in Atlanta, Pedro's in New York, Simone, you're in the Bahamas, and I'm in Cleveland. Those values that you actually have, in the industries, they just ring true through everything. And so you guys have kind of, you're starting your own thing, and Simone, you do a variety of things. When you're looking to work with a customer, right, or client, and Pedro, you're new to it, so we'll find out. Like, do you really want these values to come back to you and that client, or are you just open to taking whatever at that point? Bill?
I mean, I think for me, also starting out, I think it's a mix of both. I think for me, as a new business owner, not even 2 months in,
Hmm.
I'm still learning. But I mean, that's the whole amazing thing about it is once I go into this thing with fulfillment years down the road, I'm still going to be learning about the
Right.
business, right? It's like a marriage, and I'd say for me, um, being open because everybody is uniquely different, right? And I think starting out to get to meet new people, whether they are clients, prospects, or just folks that want to chat, everybody has a different unique ability to them because everybody's so different. So I'd say for me, if I had to lean more on one or the other, I'd say probably more open right now.
Right.
But really, at the end of the day, I go back to that trust and that integrity, because it is a two-way street. I mean, whether it is a business relationship or it's just, I help you, you help me kind of thing, right? That really goes back into Pedro and Simone's piggyback on the word integrity, right?
Right.
What you see is what you get. And I think one of the things that I try to strive really hard to do with prospects, with clients, is I give them my full self. I don't try to fake anything that I'm doing because I want them to know me for me, because they're the ones hiring me, the person, to help them succeed. Because it's always people hiring people, whether it's in business or in life. So
Good. How about you, Simone?
Yeah, I've learned actually the hard way that you can't do business with everybody.
Right.
Phil, sorry to break it to you.
It's true. It is true.
No, and you find that you work better with people who are in alignment with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I've found that people who, and it's not that you want people to be exactly like you, but you find that those things that rub you the wrong way or make it difficult for you to engage in that relationship, that it's better that you don't try to force it.
Mm-hmm.
I found that there are people who would approach, they may be interested in being coached or having work done, but their approach to work may not be my approach to work.
Right.
And so they are now sometimes in judgment toward me because they're expecting me to operate a certain way when I don't.
Right.
And so it creates this wall. So now it means then that they're not open, right?
Yep.
If that's my value, they're not open, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe they would chase and say, yes, I want to get this proposal in. We need this stuff right away, right away. And you jump through all the hoops. And then, as they would say, right, in today's dating world, they ghost you, right? Like you don't hear from them anymore,
Quite a few of that.
right?
Not just dating anymore. It's everything right now.
There's no integrity. It's no
Right.
integrity. If you're not
Yeah.
interested, just come back and say, I'm not interested. Don't have me hanging on, waiting, and or just say, let's negotiate. Let's negotiate and look at the terms. Whatever it is, let's be open. Let's be honest. Let's be authentic.
Yeah.
Without
a doubt. And Pedro, I mean, you have come from some Relais and Chateau properties to big box properties in New York City and Chicago. Like, you've probably had to deal with so many people you're hiring, and now you're taking it to the next step. Like, I'm very curious as to where you think it might go in that world with your values.
Listen, like Phil, it's literally 2 months in this new venture. I left my last hotel job in the middle of August. I think I agree with Simone, even without having had probably the world of experience that she probably has already, being a new startup. But I agree, you probably can't please everybody, and I carry that from my experience in my career, through all the jobs and roles I've held through my career. You literally, no matter sometimes how much effort you put in, you can't please everybody.
Right.
And people's perspectives of service excellence or customer service or an experience for someone in the same place, in the same product, may mean one thing that is different for somebody else. So I think that is part of the world that we live in. This diversity. It's all these different perspectives, and I think my goal is really one, to sell a vision of what I believe my business can provide and is able to provide in that in that respect myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that I will have to seek that alignment, because if the alignment is not going to be there, then communication is not going to be it's not going to be fluid, and we could be talking for ages and not necessarily kind of arrive to an understanding and an agreement to partner. I'm a true believer. In partnerships. I think there's tremendous value in partnering with others, brands or services or providers, whatever that may be, because everybody has individual specific strengths. You can't carry everything yourself, and partnerships means alignment. And I think this key word you've mentioned, Simone, alignment is tremendous. It's extremely important. So I am sure that I will come across that challenge, but I think that what I'm going to be seeking first is that respect, is that integrity, and the appreciation, and the value for a different perspective and from a different background.
Yeah.
So I think that will be key.
I think it's funny because the alignment piece, and it's not about who we know, right? It's about who knows. And as a recruiter in Phil, you've kind of done this a little bit. I can reach out to 100 people today, and I'm not even looking to talk to them. I'm looking to talk to the people they know, and because they may be interested, but they may not be. And so I really enjoy all of that curiosity piece, but I want to align with all of them, right? I want to talk with everybody. And I know over the years, I've done this is 9 years now. I have probably sent more messages to Pedro for positions and seeing if I can work with him than, a good flux of people. And it's just interesting because he's one of the people who always replies back. And that was that reciprocating piece. Not interested, can't help you, try this person, whatever. He didn't leave that path unclosed. And there are quite a few people that do that. So you always know who you can go to. And Phil, as you go forward, you're going to know, right? I've reached out to that person and they just aren't committing. So let's just leave them be. And when they want to commit, they'll come back. But, so.
Exactly.
This is, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Phil, but I think it was something you mentioned. And it stems from one of the values. What is the respect for your work and others like you that do and work on executive search, the understanding that you may not need a job today, you may need it in the future, and in the end, it's part of us keeping alive this relationship and keeping alive this collaboration and this partnership. No matter what, whether you need the service or you don't need the service, whether you need the job or you don't need the job. I mean, that has tremendous value because life has its strange ways of weaving things through your path, and you never know when you're going to need someone that has a particular skill, expertise, knowledge of something, and should never look away from any of those opportunities. So
yeah, and that is true because we don't know where our paths are going to lead to, and we don't know who's going to be involved in it. And I mean, I've done this, like I said, 9 years running, and I have some actually very good friends who I've recruited and they've left the industry or whatever, but we talk all the time. And it was just started as an email or a phone call, and it's just progressed there. And now I know I can call them when I need to. Right. So it was just one of those things. But I appreciate your guys' time. I'm going to let you get back. I want to appreciate Phil for coming with the orange color that you always come with. Thank you so much. You brought your authentic self. Thank you. Simone, coming from the Bahamas, that is amazing. I appreciate it. And Pedro, love that you joined me from New York City, and you're a busy man.
My pleasure.
You guys have yourselves a wonderful day, and I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, John.
Thank you all.
Take care, man. Take care.